Hi guys, so I'm going to read Tales to Astonish number 42. So this is the first appearance of a minor villain called the Voice. Even Ant-Man could not resist the evil spell of the man with the voice of doom.
Ant-Man, you cannot help yourself. You must do as I command. Plunge to your doom. Now!
Too late to save myself. I must obey his orders, although it means the end of Ant-Man. He called it the voice of truth, but to Ant-Man, it turned out to be the voice of doom. Plot Stan Lee, script Larry Lieber, art Don Heck, lettering Art Simic.
I command you, Ant-Man, go to the edge of the pier, fall into the water, and drown. Drown!
It's about time that horrid little villain was punished.
He's a sinister menace. We'll all be safer with him gone.
To those seeing him for the first time, Jason Cragg seems like just a harmless oddball. No one would ever dream that he is the most dangerous mortal on Earth.
Hey, get a load of that kook. He looks like something left over from the Civil War. He's setting up a soapbox. I guess he's gonna make a speech. Wonder what he's selling. It's a cinch it's not razor blades.
But the moment the stranger speaks, the jeers and laughter stop. He is a voice beyond compare.
Gather to me. Hear my words. I, Jason Cragg, speak truth. Truth!
Never have I heard such a sincere voice. I can't resist it. He's on the level. I know he is.
But a tiny figure passing nearby remains unaffected. He actually put his audience into a trance, yet I feel nothing. My helmet must in some way filter out the hypnotic element in his voice. And then suddenly, the amazing feat takes on a grim aspect.
Heed me. The Ant-Man is a sinister villain who must be driven from the city.
I hear. I believe. The Ant-Man is a menace to our city.
Jason Cragg speaks the truth.
The Ant-Man must be driven from our midst.
It's fantastic. Without logic, without evidence. He's turned the crowd against me. But why? What is his purpose? And who is he? Who indeed is this spell-binding orator, whose compelling voice can bend a crowd to its will? And why does he vilify the Ant-Man? For the incredible answers, we must go back a few weeks. Jason Cragg originally came from the Midwest, where he was a radio announcer who just didn't have what it takes. Buy Peppo dog food, the food for discriminating dogs. He sounds as convincing as a wet sponge.
We'll have to dump him before we lose all our listeners.
But they never did fire Jason Cragg, for one day at a nearby atomic experimental laboratory, "Careful! The radioactivity is getting too high."
"I can't lower it. The dial is stuck. Through the emergency switch. Hurry!" "There, the current is off."
"Whew. Another few seconds and the radiation might have escaped." But, unknown to the scientists, by 1,000,000 to 1 accident, a tiny stream of electrified particle, ionized atoms, did escape, and were picked up by Jason Cragg's microphone, where they were amplified and...
I feel so strange.
For a moment, Jason couldn't speak, but then, when he regained his voice, it was different. It had an unnatural tone.
And remember that your dog knows the difference, so give it the best. Give it Peppo dog food.
Hurry! Let's run to the grocer's and get some. We don't even have a dog, but we can eat it ourselves. Needless to say, Jason was an overnight success. Our sales have jumped 300%. Thanks to our silver-tongued salesman. You're in for a raise, my boy.
Not me. I'm quitting.
But you can't quit. We need you.
Of course you do. But I don't need you. As a matter of fact, with my fabulous new vocal power, I need never work again.
And Jason Cragg was right.
Ticket. But my good man, today's Thursday, the day where all people carrying handkerchiefs with the initials JC are allowed to ride free.
Free? Of course. You're right, sir. As he traveled, he became bolder, more demanding. He even assumed the flamboyant appearance of an orator.
I am hungry. Prepare me a steak dinner at once.
Your voice. I cannot resist it. I must obey.
And then, when Cragg happened to be passing through Center City, home of the Ant-Man, look at Ant-Man tackling those thieves. Wow! And he's even got a bunch of little ants helping him. Yow! It's biting and stinging me! Stop, we quit! Bullseye! Between the Ant-Man and the police, the crooks in this town haven't got a chance. Okay, we'll take over now. Step aside. You did a swell job. Thanks, Ant-Man. The way he commands those ants through his cybernetic helmet, it's terrific.
Respected by the police, loved by the people. He is indeed a powerful figure. But if I can defeat him, then I can defeat anyone. I must test my mettle against Ant-Man. With Ant-Man disposed of, this city can be mine.
And so, in an arrogant attempt to prove his superiority over the Ant-Man, Jason uses his irresistible voice to turn the people against their hero.
He pretends to be your friend, but he secretly despises you, as he does all who are normal-sized. The Ant-Man catches criminals, only to deceive you, to keep you from suspecting that he himself is the worst of all criminals. I tell you, he is evil. He must be driven from the city.
Meanwhile, at police headquarters, we're happy to present you this award for meritorious service. No one in the community deserves it more. Gentlemen, I am honored. Suddenly,
what mockery! To honor a base villain. Instead, the Ant-Man should be arrested.
That voice! I cannot resist it. Arrest the Ant-Man!
But he offers no evidence. No proof to support his charge. You can't just arrest me on his say. So?
He needs no proof. He is the voice of truth. It must be obeyed. You're too dangerous to remain at large. You belong in prison.
They're all under Cragg's spell. They won't listen.
Wait, how does he know his name? I must escape while I... because he was talking earlier. I must escape while I still can. As the Ant-Man snaps the rubber band, the toddy rolled certificate springs open, hurling the tiny figure high into the air. Editor's note. Despite his tiny size, Ant-Man retains the strength of a normal-sized human. Grab him! Don't let him escape!
The insects are picking up my electronic impulses. They're converging below. Couldn't ask for a softer landing spot. Thanks, fellas. Now, I think I'd better hitch a ride. And lose myself in the crowd.
He got away.
Well, don't just stand there. Go after him. Alert the people. Create vigilante groups. I myself will lead you. We must capture the Ant-Man.
Their free will overcome by Jason Craig's spell-binding commands, scores of citizens join in a grim search for the tiny hero, whom they had respected just a day before. "We gotta find the Ant-Man. He must be captured." "How can we do it? It's like looking for a needle in a haystack." Meanwhile, the gallant figure who has become the hunted moves warily through the city.
I must return to my lab and enlarge myself, become Henry Pym again. Then I've got to find a way to strip Crag of his awesome power. Best to go through the park. It's quicker. A mob, led by Crag himself. They're searching for me. My only hope now is to remain hidden in this grass.
But then, the Ant-Man seized them, the makeshift instruments that could spell his doom.
And if he's hiding in the grass, the magnets will detect his metal helmet, and will swoop him up just like these pins and other bits of metal.
They're coming closer. If I keep my cybernetic helmet on, they'll capture me. But if I remove it, I'll be unable to communicate with the ants when I need them. I've got no choice. I must get rid of the helmet and take my chances. I had to discard my shrinking and enlarging gas containers, too. Lucky they were empty. No one can use their contents.
Seconds later, "Look, I picked up his helmet and gas pellet containers."
Ha! Now he's as good as captured.
"But how can we find him? If he's wearing no metal, our magnets can't attract him."
Fool! Without his helmet, he's vulnerable to something far stronger than magnets. My voice. Ant-Man, wherever you're hiding, heed my words. I, Jason Crag, command you to reveal yourself. Obey me, Ant-Man. Come out of hiding. You cannot resist my enchanted voice. I am your master."
If only I could shut out the sound, but it's too powerful. Every word he utters has a strange persuasive quality that forces his commands into my brain. It's overcoming my will. I can't hold out much longer.
Give yourself up. Obey me.
The tiny figure struggles courageously, but to no avail, for none can defy the all-powerful voice of Jason Crag.
Here I am. I can resist no longer.
Ah, I have won. But my victory won't be complete until I've ended your very existence. I command you to walk to the pier, to dive into the river, and make no attempt to swim. Do nothing to keep yourself from drowning.
Moments later, outside the park.
Go! Walk to the pier. Jump to your doom. I have spoken.
And so, the helpless Ant-Man walks the last mile, past the hate-filled eyes of those who once honored him.
He pretended to be our friend, but all the while he was a lonesome little criminal.
And he'd still be deceiving us, if not for Jason Crag. Jason's golden voice is the clarion call for truth. It tells us to show that villain no pity, no mercy. Go, evil one, to your richly deserved fate.
Must walk to the pier.
But there are others witnessing the grim spectacle. Tiny creatures silently watching their human leader march to his doom.
You have reached the edge of the pier. Now jump, Ant-Man, and make no attempt to swim. No attempt to stay afloat.
I must obey.
So powerful is Jason's spell that it overcomes even the Ant-Man's basic instinct to survive.
I must not swim. I must do nothing to save myself.
But, as the helpless little figure starts to sink, It is gripped by a pair of powerful mandibles.
Look below! Ants! They're rescuing the Ant-Man! He's still obeying the command! He's doing nothing to save himself!
He doesn't have to. The insects are doing it for him.
I will not be thwarted. I will not be denied my victory. After them! Destroy the Ant-Man!
Again, the voice of truth speaks.
We must obey.
But before the spellbound crowd can act, Ant-Man is carried to safety beneath the pier. Well done, my little friends. I should have known that even though I couldn't send you electronic commands, you would still remain loyal to me.
He escaped, but I'll capture him again, and the next battle shall be his last.
Wending his way through sewers and underground tunnels, the Ant-Man finally arrives home. I'll go in through the secret entrance. So there's like a diagram of his headquarters or his house. So secret room of Pym's lab, passageway, secret panel, the catapult, miniature elevator shaft, ant-size elevator, outside wall of building. Ant-Man returns through this door here and ground outside. Entering his lab, he takes a new canister of enlarging gas and releases its potent contents. In the days that follow, the search for the Ant-Man continues, but without success.
Bah! Someone in the city must be hiding him, protecting him. Someone who has not yet heard my all-powerful voice. But I'll soon fix that.
And tomorrow night, we are honored to have as our guest speaker that spellbinding orator, Jason Cragg. Be sure to listen in, folks. Just what I've been waiting for. Now it's time to make my move.
Later, in an alley behind City Hospital,
plenty of people saw me coming here, but none suspects that the colorless scientist, Henry Pym, is also the fugitive Ant-Man. I'll just lay my costume and one of my duplicate helmets down here for a while. Since I've taken to wearing clothes composed of unstable molecules, I can use my growth gases any time. Editor's note. Clothes composed of unstable molecules stretch and contract, as the wearer's own body does. It's a lot easier to don my working clothes this way than it would have been to lug around a large-sized costume. Seconds later, that's right. Obey my electronic commands. Climb up the hospital wall. Closed windows aren't effective when the intruder is the size of an ant. There's always a little crack somewhere that I can fit in through. And now, good thing you critters can carry up to... Wait, did I miss something? No, okay. Good thing you critters can carry up to 50 times your own weight. Careful. Don't drop it. The germs in there mustn't get loose. Not yet. Now I'll just change to Henry Pym again, enlarge myself, and go over to the television studio. Later, at the studio that Jason Cragg will broadcast from, this prop room is loaded with stuff, but the only thing that interests me is that prop gun. And the following fateful night, we're ready for you, Mr. Cragg. Clap, so clap, 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 clap.
I'll make millions of my viewers hate the Ant-Man. When I'm finished, no living human being will ever support him, for none can resist my hypnotic voice.
But, unseen by Jason Cragg,
he's starting. Climb quickly.
Just as the hate-monger prepares to speak, he hears a tiny whisper.
This is the Ant-Man, Cragg. Unless you do exactly what I tell you to do, your life won't be worth a dime. For at this very moment, there is a concealed gun trained at you. One signal from me, and my ants will pull the trigger. See it? So, unless you're bulletproof, you better tell a million listeners that you were wrong, that Ant-Man is an honest, law-abiding citizen.
Fool! That won't help you. Whatever I say now, I can contradict later on.
Let me worry about later on.
Very well. Listen, my friends. I have made a serious error. I misjudged the Ant-Man. He's an honest, law-abiding citizen, worthy of your respect and admiration.
And once again, the words of the golden-voiced orator are accepted without question. The Ant-Man is not evil.
If Jason Cragg says he's honest, it must be so.
We must once again respect him. The voice of truth commands it.
Well done, Cragg. You can relax now. That gun the ants are holding isn't loaded.
You tricked me, but I'll have my revenge. Watch me turn the entire city against you now. Everyone, listen! Listen to the golden voice of... My voice! Something's wrong. It lost its power. It sounds different, but how?
I'll tell you how, Cragg. Before you arrived here, I covered that mic with microbes. Microbes which cause laryngitis.
Laryngitis! Then you knew my voice would hold out just long enough to recite your message, but you won't get away with this. Hear me! The Ant-Man is evil. He must be destroyed. You must believe me. Mine is the voice of truth.
But without the hypnotic power of his enchanted voice,
What are you, some kind of nut? Or something? You can't make speeches inciting people to violence here.
Run the bomb out of town.
Wait! Hear me! Hear me!
but none will ever listen to Cragg's hypnotic commands again. Later,
And don't ever come back. The Ant-Man, he defeated me. And even when I regain my voice, the chances are 1,000,000 to 1 against it ever again having the same hypnotic quality. He had a great power. He might have done so much good with it, but instead he made the wrong choice, and now his power, his voice of doom, is stilled forever. And that's the end. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, that'd be appreciated. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys later.